Hello, this is Mia from the future completely compiling and editing this very video, and turns out I'm going to be switching the 4 out of 5 I originally planned for this project to 3 out of 5 due to how it's already pretty late, and turns out I don't feel like writing an entire last essay so late at night just to use a bunch of text-to-speech. So, the only topics you'll be expecting to hear about is mutualism, predation, and parasitism. Anyways, I'll be letting you guys watch the actual video now.
Firstly, let's take a spin at mutualism. Surely, you already know what mutualism is, but for your memory, if that's not the case, mutualism is a relationship in which neither organism is harmed, yet both are gaining something from each other, so it's like an extremely friendly win-win. An example of this harmless relationship is seen in ants and bullhorn acacia trees, as for both are in aid of each other through many situations. Through discovery of their plant friends, ants tend to sleep or nest within the large thorns of the acacias, and the acacias provide nutrients to the ants as well. The reason why the trees actually want to let the ants stay? Because the ants help the trees thrive better. The ants are drawn towards the trees due to the trees producing not only nectar, but a special oil and protein-rich nodules on the tips of their young leaves, which will provide all the nutrition that the ant colony will ever need from them. In favor of the trees doing them such a favor, ants trim away weeds from the base of their tree and also reduce their competition for nutrients by cleaning the area around the base. When you think about it, it's kind of as if the acacias were the mother of the ants, and the ants, playing as the mother acacia's children, do chores for the acacia. However, to get back to the facts, ants also tend to check to keep the acacia leaves safe from leaf pathogens and herbivore predators. The ways that they do so for keeping leaf pathogens in check is by reducing the bacterial abundance on the surfaces of leaves, which helps for a clearly positive effect. Then, towards keeping away the herbivore predators, ants swarm around the herbivore, eventually either getting the herbivore away or being too weak to defend their colony's tree. Now for predation. Predation, if not yet obvious, is the relationship between prey and predator. This relationship is shown in two different varieties, and these two are carnivory and herbivory. Starting with carnivory, an example of this predatory relationship is seen through lions and zebras, which are commonly found in the Sahara Desert, which is in Africa, unless they are held in captivity. When zebras can tell that they are being hunted, they can use their stripes against their predators in a way called a motion dazzle, which happens when they move along with their herd closely, which often leads to lions finding it more difficult to pick out a target. These motion dazzle illusions are believed by scientists to be called the wagon wheel effect or barber pole illusion. Now, for the herbivory side of predation. Herbivory predation is like carnivory predation, but the prey in this case is of the autotrophs. An example of this relationship is seen in Galapagos tortoises and cacti. Both of the two are found together on different islands, and these different islands contain different settings or scenarios when it comes to the genetics of these main two organisms. On one island, there are long-necked tortoises that feed off of cactus branches that are higher off the ground, while on other islands, Galapagos have short necks and feed off of lower cacti branches. How are cacti evolving to avoid being eaten? Asked nobody but the script of this video. The answer to that is that the low cacti are slowly evolving themselves into higher branches to avoid being eaten by the short-necked tortoises more easily. The past two relationship examples might have been considered quite murderous. However, there's much worse in cases like relationships. This leads to talking about parasitism. There are many possible examples I could use to display parasitism. However, I have chosen the parasitic relationship between us, humans, and tapeworms. The tapeworms creatures live through 3 life stages, which consist of the egg, larva, and adult worms. Most tapeworms tend to enter the muscles of their host through the consumed raw or uncooked meat of an infected animal they'd been a parasite. Once you have a tapeworm in your system, the chances of feeling symptoms is usually unlikely. However, possible symptoms could be nausea, weakness, abdominal pain, loss of appetite, hunger, fatigue, weight loss, and vitamin or mineral deficiencies. Like stated, symptoms are highly unlikely to be felt, so the closest other signs of tapeworm parasitism is through possibly worm segments, possible internal movement, or bowel movement. In certain cases, tapeworms may be intense, which could lead to blocked intestines or smaller ducts like bile duct or pancreatic duct.
There are other existing complications, but I'm using text-to-speech to pronounce them because if I can't for the life of me say cinnamon right, there is no way I can pronounce the following complications. The other complications are known as cryptocirrhosis, neurocysticercosis, echinococcosis, or hydatid disease.
If you are possibly to get paranoid and believe you may catch a tapeworm as soon as you eat something, here are some ways that you can avoid getting tapeworms into your body. Firstly, avoid raw fish or meat, and don't leave them undercooked. These are extremely easy passageways for tapeworms if such fish or meat is infected. Secondly, you can freeze meat to -4 Fahrenheit, for this will kill any possibly hidden tapeworm eggs after at least 24 hours of wait. Lastly, wash your hands with hot water and soap before eating or making your own meals. If you do just so happen to be diagnosed with tapeworms, there isn't much to worry for due to how treatment is proved to be 95% effective and can be completed in a few days. This causes there to be less of a reason to worry of all the parasites, unless you are known to be paranoid of a percentage as small as 5% when it comes to difficulty or failure. A common form of treatment for tapeworms is simply pills, which are created to be toxic to the coexisting parasite tapeworms in someone's body.
Thanks for watching. Now I've got to go because Roblox and Minecraft are waiting for me other side. See you later, folks.